Welcome, everybody. Excited to have everyone here to join us to talk about Mail Plus. I'm Scott Stevenson. I'm going to be doing the introductions today. I'll just want to let everyone know that I'll keep an eye on chat. If anyone has any questions throughout this, please feel free to drop them in there, and I'll be sure to ask Terry to go over them. If you don't have anything you want to say or you want to wait a little bit, we have a Q&A session at the end. And I do also want to let everyone know that this will be recorded. So if for any reason you need to step away or do something else, it's fine. We'll make sure this is available to everybody. What we'll be talking about is Mail Plus. That's our direct mail enhancement tool. We use multiple different technologies to help you with your direct mail campaigns. It helps them be more effective. You can get some better results. We also want to make sure that you are able to track your marketing dollars and make sure they're used as best as possible. So this platform that we have is really an invaluable tool when you're looking to do that. I do want to introduce Terry Richardson. He's our product specialist and our presenter today. Terry works closely with customers every day and helps them get the most out of their Mail Plus. He's going to walk us through how it works, share some best practices, as well as answer any questions you guys have. So after the presentation, if you want to maybe get a little bit more information, find out how it could best work for your specific business, let your rep know, your manager, and we're happy to set up an extra session. I think with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Terry, who can get us started here.
All right, thanks, Scott, and thanks everybody for joining today. And like Scott mentioned, obviously as I go through this presentation deck, we have multiple people from multiple industry on the call today, so I am speaking more in generalities. But when we do have that one-on-one consultation, we will be able to create kind of a personalized approach where we're utilizing some of these different technologies based upon the goals of your particular campaign, whatever industry that you might fall into. So there's a lot of things that we can do through these technologies to really kind of personalize that market approach that's going to best fit your needs. Okay. But let me share my screen. We'll jump right in. So first of all, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the benefits of direct mail, right? The fact that it is tangible, right? So it's targeted. We know that we can build out a qualified mailing list, whether that's a house list, people that have previously interacted with your company or your brand, made purchases, or create an audience of similar or like-minded individuals and reach them with a particular message. Less competition, right? Which has actually led to higher engagement. So we're no longer in the days of receiving 15 to 20 pieces of direct mail on a daily basis, right? We might get one or two. So the impact of that direct mail piece has just continued to grow over the last 10 to 15 years. There are some things that have changed as far as how people do interact with offline marketing channel, but that engagement rate is steadily increasing. Also, we can personalize it, at a high level. We can just personalize it based upon first name and last name, including that on the mail piece. But if we do have additional data on that individual, we can even personalize it, right? By adding special unique offers included, which the more personalized that you can get in your approach and your messaging, right? The better response that we're actually going to receive, which is going to give us a higher ROI. Now, talked about the benefits, right? The fact that we are getting a better ROI from direct mail than we have in the last 15 to 20 years. But one thing that has changed is consumer behavior as far as how people are making these purchases or these signups, right? They have multiple options. The vast majority of them, even from an offline marketing channel like direct mail, are converting online or visiting online before they're making that purchase, before they're signing up. So like I said, getting higher ROI, but what is changing is consumer behavior. So we do need to be able to reach them where they are and give them the opportunity to convert in a way that's actually comfortable for them. Also, I'm sure the vast majority of you that are on the line today are using multiple channels, right? So some of the challenges that when I'm speaking to a lot of companies that are utilizing direct mail is being able to integrate all of those different channels channels and kind of have cohesive messaging to the same or similar audience across these different channels. Direct mail, offline marketing channel, which does make it very difficult to track and prove attribution from. Data, privacy, and security. This has really been a big one, especially the last 5 to 10 years. So the reason I bring up some of these challenges is because the program that we're going to talk about today, our Mail Plus program, will actually help us overcome some of those challenges and make it a little bit easier for you. Now, before I get into the technologies or even into kind of the nuts and bolts of Mail Plus, I always start off by saying Mail Plus, even though we're using some different digital channels, is in no way, shape, or form a replacement for what you're currently doing as far as digital marketing. If you're running pay-per-click campaigns, you're running ads on social or Google, you're running email marketing campaigns, and it's working for you, you should continue to do so. What's really unique about this platform is that it really is a direct mail centric product where we're just using some of these different digital channels to increase the results that we're seeing from the direct mail campaign, as well as help you track and prove those response rates with some of the tracking components that we have included as well. Now, with any Mail Plus campaign that we run, we do use an omni-channel marketing approach. I'm sure most of you are probably familiar or at least heard the term before. Well, over 95% of companies, they use a multi-channel marketing approach, which just means they use multiple channels to promote their products or services. But when they're using these channels, a lot of times the marketing message is different, right? The creative, the call to action, and almost always, depending on which channel that they're using, the audience is different. So what an omni-channel approach allows us to do is take that same marketing message, same imagery, same call to action, but simply use it across multiple channels. And most importantly, to that highly qualified audience that we built out for that mailing list. And what we're able to do through Mail Plus, depending on which bundled platform that we're using, we actually have 4 of them that I'm going to talk through today that include different sets of technologies, is we can either turn that 1 impression into either 8 to 16 or even 16 to 32 impressions per piece. So just to use round numbers, if we mail out 10,000 direct mail pieces, no matter what the format is, we would see 80,000 to 320,000 impressions across these different channels. And by doing so, what we have seen on average is a 23 to 46% lift in results over what those clients were seeing when they were just running traditional direct mail efforts, right? And just getting that 1 impression to that 1 individual. But that's huge, right? It really does give you the opportunity to take advantage of every single individual that's on that mailing list. Another huge benefit, other than just ease of use, ease of setup, because we do help you all along the way as far as setting up these campaigns, is the transparency in the results. We'll also be able to provide you and anyone else within your organization access to a dashboard. And within that dashboard, you're able to go in and view campaign results in real time for current or even previous campaigns that you've run, right? To kind of gauge them and compare them. So you will be able to view high level KPIs. So numbers like total ad displays across all of the channels that we're using, total engagements, which an engagement can be a call, a text, a click, a QR code scan. So any sort of response that we received from this marketing campaign. Total leads, which we'll talk about that throughout the presentation. And we even have what's called an attribution column. There's several different technologies that we're using where we can not only identify that, hey, this was a response from this campaign and or this particular technology, but we can actually tie it back to an individual on the mailing list and tell you who responded, when they responded, and how they responded. So through Mail Plus, what we actually do is we bundle groups of different technologies in kind of a per piece package, just like we would a direct mail campaign, with the understanding that all of these technologies are going to be included in this particular package. So that's when I talked about the personalized approach. So based upon the goals of the campaign, the audience that you're trying to reach, the industry that you're in, your current digital strategy, we'll be able to make a recommendation or recommendations on which one or two of these solutions will best fit your needs. So the first one that I'm going to talk about today is our original 8 technologies. Okay. Now, from a timing perspective, the way that our campaigns run is they do run for a total of 30 days. Now, keep in mind, when I do say 30 days, that is from each drop. A lot of our clients, they will run multi-drop campaigns. So for example, say we're dropping once today, again on day 15, and then again on day 30 for a 3-drop campaign. Well, in that case, this campaign would run for a total of 60 days. So it's 30 days from each drop, and that 30-day clock is starting on the date that we physically drop the mail off at the post office to be sent out. The first of these technologies that's going to deploy is going to be Social Match, which is run through both Facebook as well as Instagram. So through Meta, we take the mailing list, upload that information to them, identify the social media accounts of those mail recipients, and then we start to serve them up ads through both Facebook as well as Instagram, and they will display in their news feeds as well as stories. And this runs for the first 14 days of the campaign. So our primary goal with Social Match is to create brand awareness, right? Brand recognition around your organization, around the offer that's being included with that direct mail program, making it more likely for that mail recipient to engage, respond, and in the end, actually convert from the direct mail piece itself. So we're showing those ads even before the mail arrives, on the day of, and even a week or so after through this one technology. Now, I showed you some of the high level reporting that you could view, but as I'd mentioned, we can also dive into each technology on an individual level to see how it's performing. So when you go into the Social Match portion, you'll be able to see information on the number of accounts that we were actually able to reach, right? As far as show ads to, and that's just through this one technology, of course. Our total ad display to that audience, our click-through rates, we can filter those results by mailing list if it is a multi-drop campaign. And we can even filter these clicks by demographic. So we can filter them by gender and or age range, which of course does give us great insight into the demographic information of these people that are responding, which of course helps us when we go to build out those future marketing campaigns. Next technology being mail tracking. So I always say, first and foremost, you're paying for a direct mail campaign, right? So you do want to make sure that that mail piece, it is reaching its intended audience. So when you look into the dashboard, you'll be able to see information like when that mail piece is projected to deliver, when it's confirmed to deliver, the percentage that's received that final scan, right? You can see it's the Google Maps integration. So you can scroll down to a street level view to see when and where it's being delivered. A mailing list to the bottom right with all of that mailing list information. And you can filter these results by city, state, county, zip code, all the way down to a per piece level, just to verify that it has been delivered. So some benefits that come along with that. If we know when the mail is going to be arriving, we can be ready for that influx in phone calls or foot traffic, or if you're asking for donations coming in. Not to mention, a lot of companies that we work with, they do run other marketing campaigns to that same audience because they might have additional data points like emails or phone numbers. So you can run other marketing campaigns based off of this information, which allow the two to benefit from each other. So for example, maybe you have an email address tied to that direct mail recipient. If you can see that the mail is projected to deliver next Thursday, you might send out an email blast the day of or the day after that references the mail piece and the offer being presented to them. So informed delivery is our next technology. So those, I'm sure at least a third of you are familiar or at least signed up for informed delivery. For those of you that are not, this is a free service that you can sign up for through the post office or your residential address. And what it is it's really just a digital way for you to check your mailbox. So anyone that's signed up for this service, which over 63 million people in the US are, you'll receive an email from USPS each morning, which usually will just display a grayscale scanned image of all the mail that's going to be delivered to your mailbox that day. What we do is we deliver a campaign on top of it, where not only will you be able to view this grayscale image, but we're also going to add a full color ride-along image that has a clickable link that will go right to that landing page of your choice on your website. It's just another impression, right? It's another great opportunity for us to get in front of those mail recipients even before the mail arrives, while at the same time giving them an easy way to respond or convert by clicking on the link. As far as the results, we'll be able to see the total number of emails that are sent out, which tells us how many people from that list are signed up for this service. We can see the open rate. We can see the click-through rate. One thing that is proprietary to our system is what we call ID match. So this actually allows us to tell you not only the aggregate reporting, but we can tell you related to the mailing list information, first name, last name, address, who received it, opened it, and more importantly, who actually clicked on it. As most of you guys know or have experienced in your own life, just because you click on an ad or you call in or visit a website does not necessarily mean that you converted, right? So it's really important for us to not only identify the total number of responses, but also identify who these people are, because they have raised their hand and expressed a high level of interest. And this is someone we should continue to market to. The next tech being call and text tracking, which is certainly more of an attribution feature more than anything else. So what we can do for you through call and text tracking is provide you either a toll-free phone number or a local area code, either local to the area code that you're mailing to or that you're located in. And really, it's just a vanity number that will not display anywhere other than the direct mail piece itself, but that number will transfer directly to whatever phone line you want that campaign to go to. So that way, every single call or text that comes in, it will be automatically tracked. So through the dashboard, you can see the time and date of each call or text, the phone number, name, address, whether it's a landline or cell phone, age range, gender data. We automatically append this information to possibly capture email addresses for people that are calling or texting in as well. Not to mention, if they do call in, all of these calls are automatically recorded, where you and only you and your team can go into your end of the dashboard, review and monitor these calls for quality assurance purposes, figure out how to improve closing percentages, for example. Now, with the texting feature, this is only available if you use a local number, but it's not a situation where we're sending out outbound text messages. It's more of a text response system. So we could put on the direct mail piece, say you're a nonprofit asking for donations, call or text donate to this number. They text in donate. We then send back a fixed response, whatever you want that response to be, in text message form, ideally including some sort of link to a destination or conversion page on your website. So giving them multiple ways to respond and to be able to track those responses. Now, most organizations are utilizing QR codes, okay? And we actually have two different types of QR codes that we can use through this system. So the first one being we can use a static QR code, which means we create one QR code, print that same QR code on each and every mail piece, gives them an additional way to respond, and then we can track the total number of scans that we receive. Of course, using that example, the reporting is aggregate, right? We don't know who scanned, we just know how many. The second option, which I really love, is the utilization of personalized QR codes. So in that case, every single mail piece will have its own unique identifiable QR code. And now we can track not only the total number, but we can also see who from that mailing list scanned that QR code. We can see the time and date of each scan, the location, even the device type that they're on when they made that QR code scan. We actually just rolled out a new feature through our QR code system a couple months back, and we can even personalize that QR code a bit for your company by adding your logo into that QR code as well. Now, online follow-up, this is all going to be done through the Google Display Network. And there's actually a couple of different things that we're doing through Google, through this platform and this particular feature. So the first thing is what's called Google Match, which is very similar to the functionality of Social Match, where we upload mailing list information into Google. Google is able to identify the devices of those individuals and then serve them up ads all across the Google Display Network for the entire 30 days of that campaign. The second thing that we're doing is remarketing. We already talked about it, right? A large percentage of those people that respond are going to visit your website, and a large percentage of those people that visit the site are not going to take action on that first encounter. So it's really important that we stay in front of them and with that same messaging. So they come to the website, they pick up a code that gets attached to their device, and now they can see your remarketing ads show up all across the Google display, which covers about 90% of the internet. Now, there's several different ways that we can set this up, right? So we can set it up to, track and remarket anyone and everyone that comes to your website, which would actually have some overlapping benefit to what you might be getting organically as far as website visitors. We can do it off of a specific page related to the product, service, or even offer that's being included with the direct mail campaign. Or we can even track the entire site, but only remarket within the areas that we actually mail to. So we do have ways of preventing overlap with your current digital marketing strategy, while still allowing us to use that omni-channel approach where what they're seeing in that follow-up ad is in line with the direct mail piece and those front-end advertisements as well. And we'll be able to see our total number of unique visitors, which is just our marketing funnel for the Google Display Network, people that visited the site, picked up the code, that are eligible to see these ads. Our total ad display, our click-through rates, total clicks, total ad views per day. Social media follow-up, it's the same concept, right? They come to the website or a specific page, or they come to the site and are within the area that we mail to. And now they're eligible to see those follow-up ads show up all across Facebook, all across Instagram, in their news feeds as well as stories. We'll actually even be using the same ad that we use on Social Match as we do on social media follow-up, which can be a still ad, or we can use video content if you have it available as well. So through remarketing, we really are able to inundate a small number of really qualified individuals with a large number of advertisements for the life of this campaign. And we'll be able to show our total ad displays, our clicks, total ad views per day through this one particular technology, of course. Now, the last technology that's included in our original 8 is going to be lead match. So what lead match is it's really just a pixel, just a piece of code that we provide you to place on the website or a specific page or pages. And what this code does is it uses different data points like an IP address, location data, device ID. And using those different data points, we can identify the residential and or business address of an anonymous website visitor. So keep in mind, this takes place without them filling out a form or providing this information, of course. Now, we cannot identify 100% of website traffic, right? We might identify 20 to 30% of website traffic. So if you get 100 unique visitors, we'll identify 20 to 30 of those addresses on average. So the first thing that we're doing with this data is we are using it to help prove attribution. I do emphasize help because we can't identify everyone by providing you with a match rate. So using the example on the screen, we could say, hey, through this pixel, we were able to identify 78 addresses of anonymous website visitors that are also on your mailing list. Now, there's also going to be a lot of people that come to your site from other sources, whether it be organic website traffic or other marketing campaigns that you guys are running, people we don't have contact information on. So addresses we captured that are not on the lead are not on the list are going to show up as a lead. So when you look into the dashboard, you can see the total number of leads and the total number of matches. Now, if you do decide to download this data, not only are we going to show you the address of these visitors, but we're going to be able to show you data and information on what they were viewing on the site. So you can see how many times they visited the site, the top 5 URLs that they visited, and the amount of time that was spent on each page. So the biggest value in lead match is if we can see that, hey, this person from this address spent 35 seconds looking at this product or this service. We know exactly what they're interested in. And now we have the opportunity to remarket and retarget them with a physical direct mail piece. And we could even possibly personalize it based upon their website activity and exactly what they were viewing while they were on the site. This is also a technology that we can use as a standalone feature to help you build out that qualified mailing list. So we can even set up what we call a lead match only campaign, where we can provide you with this pixel to place on your site to track the entire site or even a specific or multiple pages, right? Now, you guys download with any frequency, or it's optional whether you even download them at all, okay? Now you have a really qualified lead list to either add to that next mail campaign that's going out, or to simply just run a retargeted direct mail to that qualified list of website visitors. Now, for anyone that joined today's call, we are actually going to offer this pixel for free to place on your website. So make sure that you reach out to your contact within B&B, and we'll be able to set you up with this pixel within probably hours. We can even help you put it on the site if need be. That way we can start identifying some of those interested prospects that are visiting the site and help you build out that qualified list. So through this original 8 program, like I said, we'll be able to take that 1 impression, turn it into 8 to 16, reach that qualified list across these multiple channels and devices, and give you access to all the data and reporting and analytics. Now, the next program that we're going to talk about is our expansion program, right? So this program is really for those companies that have products and services that have mass appeal, or they're even trying to reach out even beyond the mailing list and bring more people into the marketing funnel. So as you can see, those original 8 are on the list, which really hyper focus on the mailing list itself. But we also add 4 additional features. So the first one being YouTube ads. I'm sure probably everybody that's on the line today has seen a YouTube ad. Starts either before the video or in the middle of the video. We normally recommend them being 15 to 30 seconds long, kind of short, sweet, to the point. Video always does a really great job of creating brand awareness, of course. Discovery/demand gen ads. This is actually a 3-for-1, meaning they're going to display in 3 different places: on the YouTube homepage, the promotions tab, so kind of like an email marketing campaign through Google. And they'll also show up on the Google Discover feed, which is mobile device specific. So if you're on your cell phone, right, you go to the Google search browser and scroll down, we can place advertisements there. And then we're also going to be doing geo-targeting through Google, the Google Display Network, and geo-targeting through social, meaning Facebook as well as Instagram. So through all 4 of these additional channels, we're basically going to be targeting the same way. So first and foremost, based upon location, right? The areas in and around where we mail to. Also search and browsing history, right? They've either looked up something related to your organization's name, the products and services that you've offered, possibly even visited a competitor's website. They've taken some action online that would deem that this ad is relevant, extremely relevant to that individual. We can also overlay this geo-targeting display campaigns with demographic information. So we can limit it to gender, specific genders or age range, right? Or target solely based upon interest, okay? So a lot of different things that we can do through geo-targeting to bring more people into the marketing funnel. And we can also get you double the exposure. So instead of 8 to 16 impressions per piece, we can get you 16 to 32 impressions per piece. Now, the next platform that we're going to talk through is the exact opposite of expansion. This is our target match program. So we would consider this like your purest form of one-to-one digital on top of a direct mail campaign, because there's literally no opportunity for us to display ads outside of that mailing list, because all ads are either displayed at a user level or at a household level. So all our bundle platforms run for 30 days from each list, right? Whether it's the full service original 8 plus Target Match or Target Match Plus that I'm going to go over next. So as you can see, we're still getting social match, but instead of for just the first 14 days of that campaign to create awareness on the front end around the drop, we're running it for the entire 30. So for the entire 30 days, we're going to identify those social media accounts and serve them up ads through Meta, being Facebook and Instagram. We're still getting mail tracking, QR codes, personalized or static, informed delivery, call and text, and lead match. But the biggest difference is the addition of this technology, meaning addressable geo. So through addressable geo, this allows us to geofence every single address that's on the mailing list and serve up ads to any device that's connected to the internet and within that household. So no matter if they're on a cell phone, home computer, tablet, or even a connected TV, if it's within that household, connected to the internet, we can reach them on over 200 different display networks, so virtually anywhere and everywhere that they visit while they're online. Now, these ads, they will run for the entire 30 days of that campaign. So before the mail arrives, on the day of, and even weeks after. And this is not IP-based targeting. Okay, this is us actually using verified GPS data, like public available information, like latitude and longitude lines of those properties, to map out those addresses and serve up ads to the devices of those mail recipients. And you can see on the screen the 90% match rate. What that number represents is that we have over 90% of residential addresses in the US mapped out and can potentially reach them just through this one technology. The reporting is also pretty comprehensive. So we can see the breakdown as far as total impressions through this technology, impressions and clicks by zip code, right? We can show you audience insight. So insight into the demographic information of the audience we're displaying ads to, as far as age, gender, income, education, and marital status. Also, addressable geo does give us multiple ways to be able to prove conversion. So we can prove on-site and off-site conversion. So an on-site conversion, meaning we provide you with a conversion pixel to place on the website. So if someone within that address goes to the site and fills out a form or makes a purchase or makes a donation, whatever that conversion process is for you, that will show up in the reporting as a weighted action. Now, some of you might even have a circumstance where people can convert offline, meaning at a brick and mortar location, or you're holding an event that you want them to attend. So in that instance, not only will we geofence the address of those mail recipients to serve up ads, but we'll also geofence that brick and mortar location or where that event is being held, and turn that into our conversion zone. So we would actually be able to track that that device that was within that address also came into that geofence location that is our conversion zone. And this is just showing you some of the breakdown and information we can provide. Now, the last bundled solution is kind of like your all-encompassing digital on top of that direct mail program, because it's going to include all of the original 8, plus we're going to include that addressable geofencing feature. Okay, so there's a lot of outbound advertisements, including the direct mail piece itself, social match, informed delivery, addressable geo, right? Bringing them into our marketing funnel. But we also have the remarketing through Google, Facebook, Instagram, and the ability to capture their address through lead match to run retargeted direct mail. So we can retarget them digitally and retarget them with a physical mail piece through lead match as well. Okay. Also, Target Match Plus, we're getting double the exposure, right? So we are turning that one impression into 16 to 32 impressions per piece. Now, of course, the proof is in the pudding, right? So we always like to add a couple of case studies at the end just to kind of add proof of concept. And I always get the question, hey, will this particular program work for our industry or our company? Really, any organization that's running direct mail for promotional purposes, right? Whether that is asking for donations, getting signups for an app or appointment setting, or possibly getting them in to buy a product or a service, we can lift response rates by using this omni-channel marketing approach. Okay. So the first one that I'm going to go over is in the higher education space, right? This is a case study for a university that was running a campaign for new admissions. And what they saw over this 30-day campaign versus what they saw the previous year was a 53% increase in total deposits and a 12% increase in the total number of applications that they received. This particular university has continued to use this year over year. This was actually a case study from back in 2022, and we've continued to work with this university moving forward. The next one, they're in the nonprofit space, right? So this is a church. It's actually UMCOR. Okay. So they ran a year-long campaign. They actually send out a direct mail piece on a monthly basis. Sometimes it's an ask. Other times it's just updates to their current donor base as far as what they're doing with that money. But they're constantly keeping in touch with those donors, right? Which really does allow them to not lose any, right? And possibly capture additional by adding some of those lapsed donors. So as you can see in this 12-month period, they increased their giving by 25% over what they saw the previous year for a total of $1.6 million. They generated close to 7,000 first-time donors because within that 12 months, a good percentage of that list was obviously donor acquisition. And they converted 5,400 lapsed donors. So those were donors that had not donated in the previous 3 years and increased their monthly donors by 78%. So huge numbers. They've continued to use this platform and it's been extremely successful for them. But overall, like I said, through this platform, our primary goal is to be able to take that one impression, turn it into multiple, right? Reach that target audience, being that mailing list across multiple channels, multiple devices, while at the same time providing you guys access to the dashboard where you can go in, view the reporting, and really see how effective that the campaign was. And as Scott mentioned, if you would like to learn more, obviously we would do a discovery call to learn a little bit more about your organization, what the goals are, what current strategies, what current channels that you're using, and we'll be able to create a personalized marketing plan where we can use some of these different technologies to really hopefully help you guys out in the direct mail space.
Yeah, well, thank you, Terry. I think it's safe to say you did such a good job. We have no questions so far. But again, if anyone has any questions, they can toss them in the chat right now, or what we can do is we can set up some sessions afterwards, as we said. So on behalf of the team here, I really want to thank everybody for attending. I'm hoping, you found something valuable in the presentation today, and there's something we can help you out with. So if you want to continue the conversation, let us know. We're happy to do it, and hopefully we can connect with you soon. Thanks everybody for attending.
Don't forget to reach out to your rep and get your free pixel.